that's the thing. Like, that's what I want. I want to hear that live at some point because it is just such a magnificent composition.
That's cool. It's got a beat you can dance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. You are listening to episode number 49. This is a podcast where we like to talk about comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, and everybody's favorite political discourse. I am your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is Midget Radio, my murderous socialist friend.
Hello.
Hello, Midget Radio. How are you doing?
Doing well, Tactic Angel. How are you?
Not too bad. Did the intro bring a tear to your eye like it did last week?
No, I don't know.
Not quite.
I mean, you did a good job, but I don't know.
Do we need to start over?
No, I think you did. I think you did great work. I don't know. I wasn't affected. Didn't capture me like last week.
It was like an A-. It wasn't,
Yeah.
extra gold stars.
No, yeah. I'm not giving you, no extra credit or anything like that. But, still good work. Solid, reliable work, Tactic
Thanks,
Angel.
fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for the compliment. Fuck you. Anyway, here we go. Midget Radio, you have less whiskey this weekend?
Yes. I'm keeping it under control. But I went with what I felt was a thematically appropriate choice of Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark, which is pictured on a shelf in a TV show that I think we've watched.
In fact, it is.
I went with a different but also appropriate whiskey, Tin Cup.
Oh, nice.
Tin Cup is a Colorado whiskey, and it is apparently made with mountain water or something.
Fantastic.
All right. These are both appropriate because we are going to be talking about one thing today. And that one thing is Jessica Jones, season 2. Making her first appearance in 2001, Jessica Jones is a relatively new superhero to the scene. She is the brainchild of Brian Michael Bendis, who has done other things too, like the Power series that you can watch on your PlayStation. In this case, our main character, Jessica Jones, is coincidentally also sharing the name of the title of this TV series. You can watch it on Netflix. There are 2 seasons now. The first season deals with Jessica's very rapey relationship with the Purple Man, and season 2 picks up with Jessica trying to cope with the things that she was forced to do in season 1. Midget Radio, first impressions for our viewers.
Jessica Jones season 2. So I did like this season better than season 1. I felt like it was a little tighter, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, organized or focused. It felt like there was a little less dead weight. But it absolutely made some choices and went in some directions that I found highly questionable.
Okay. I would say that I found the first 8 or so episodes of this to be pretty thoroughly enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And then it started to get a little rickety. But the pace keeps up. Now, the problem with season 1 is that the pace comes to almost a standstill.
Yeah.
Where entire episodes can be described in a sentence.
Yeah.
Jessica lives in the house. Great. Not super interesting. This, I think they did a much better job in terms of tone and pacing. And actually, I'm going to put this out there and you can tell me whether you agree or not.
Okay.
The director of photography was doing a pretty solid job through most of this series.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, nothing stuck out to me as far as like the cinematography or anything, but so yeah, I'm not going to argue against you.
Well, when I say that, they went with a lot of artful shots in areas where if you were to film just your average episode of NCIS or
Sure.
special victims units or Friends or whatever the hell the kids are watching these days.
NCIS Friends, yeah.
NCIS Friends. That's actually the special victims unit. And if you are
Friends.
watching that, the victim is you.
Nice work, Tech Angel.
But like I enjoyed like a lot of the framing. They would occasionally throw in, a really pretty shot, a long angle. A lot of times, particularly when things are emotionally at odds, they use a very extreme reverse shot. So you're like the character is all the way pushed into the left
Yeah.
sixth of the screen.
Yeah.
And it makes it more awkward, and it usually matches the tone of the conversation. Because, if you walk in and it's like, oh, I want to help you,
Yeah.
Miss Hogarth.
Yeah.
And Miss Hogarth's like, fuck you, Billy. I don't give a shit. Get out of my office.
I mean, spoiler alert, but yeah.
It's not
Billy
really
does not do
spoiler. There's no character
There is
named
no
Billy.
No.
But yeah, this is the spoiler-free section. I think that they did a much better job, and honestly, part of that's also that I felt like, I kind of loved the first 6 or 8 or 10 episodes of this, because the music actually, I enjoyed it. There's
Yeah.
not a lot going on there,
Yeah.
but it felt very reminiscent of sort of a lot of 70s low intensity soundtracks.
Yeah.
Which includes, strangely enough, a 1974 classic starring Charles fucking Bronson called Death Wish.
Yeah.
Which uses a very similar, just light jazz.
Yeah. Yeah. The score, they stuck with the piano, like that piano jazz, pretty consistently throughout this series. And the consistent use of the voiceover, I think, lended a lot to sort of the tone and the overall atmosphere of the show, which was nice.
I agree with that most of the time. There were 1 or 2 times that they did it, and it felt like they were like hitting us over the head with exposition so we would understand what was happening.
Yeah.
but for the most part, like, that's a very film noir thing.
Yeah.
In film noir, I mean, the detective story is so classic to that genre.
Yeah.
And the voiceover is so beautifully cliche.
Yep.
That I mean, you have to have it.
Yeah.
in there.
It's a welcome trope for sure for this series.
So one of our major complaints from season 1 was that Jessica Jones did not seem to do enough detectiving.
Yeah.
Midget Radio, did you feel like she did a lot more detectiving?
Yeah.
Did you like
I mean,
the
in
way
this,
that this worked out?
Yeah, in this season, yeah. I mean, it kind of, that aspect I feel like kind of comes to a halt about halfway through. But for the time that it was there, it was nice. And they spent more time on that aspect of her character, or that at least aspect of her job, than they ever did in season 1. So that's a definite improvement. I'm a little disappointed that so much of it still surrounded like her own sort of personal history, that it's yet another story about Jessica's past, essentially. But still, I appreciated appreciated at least the volume of the investigative aspects of this season as compared to season 1.
Yeah. I agree. And towards the end, it does sort of taper off. But I mean, in the first season, it was like 2 or 3 episodes max.
Yeah.
And then it was like straight back into the rapey house.
Yep.
And man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this one you always have kind of something going on, because you actually do have and this was similar to, or at least I felt it was very similar to how the Punisher worked its storylines, because you would have storylines going on and they wouldn't appear to have anything to do with the main story.
Yeah.
And then it would get looped back in 8 episodes later.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that's, I think that Jessica Jones works better as an ensemble, similar to almost all the other Marvel movies that work better as an ensemble.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
I
even-
think it's necessary. Yeah.
Even the Punisher, when you have Micro, like just the two of them playing off each other,
Yeah.
it's probably way better than watching just the Punisher like wallow and then shoot people and then wallow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like, so as much as this show needs, I think the sort of at least the ensemble to make it work, I still feel like one of its biggest weaknesses is that it doesn't, there aren't any characters, unlike in the Punisher and the Micro Punisher dynamic, there aren't really any characters in this series that I think challenge Jessica enough or like play off of Jessica in a manner that's a little bit more interesting. And that's where I think a good chunk of the weaknesses, at least for me, I'm not a big fan. I mean, honestly, other than Hogarth and other than and I think most of that is just Carrie-Anne Moss's performance. I think so many of the other characters are almost dead weight, for me anyway.
So I take it that Patsy did not come up in
No,
your
I still
rankings.
I still don't like Patsy. And I like Malcolm even less after this season.
Really?
Oh yeah. So this will be maybe interesting for us to talk about in the spoiler section, but yeah, those characters, the newer character of the Super in this season, just bored to tears. Yeah, there's just not enough characters, I think, to really challenge Jessica. There's not, and it just kind of sucks. Honestly, it feels like a lot of broken people feeding off of each other. It's sort of what this season kind of felt like a little bit to me, which is,
Yeah. No, I get that, and I actually have kind of an idea that isn't going to be expressed like that, but you might think that it's similar, and as we get into the spoilers later,
yeah,
we can explore that a little bit.
yeah.
Do you have well, let's put it this way. Where would you put this on the continuum of comic book TV shows?
On the can we limit it to the Netflix series? I mean, I guess that's all that really matters anyway, but practically.
Well, let's take it for granted that you think probably more about Gifted than is deserved.
My God, yeah.
And that you probably love Legion.
Oh, yeah.
And that those are going to be way up on the list. We'll stick it in with just the Netflix thing. I think the big and also probably easy question is, does this unseat either the Punisher or Daredevil in its meddling positions?
My God, no. No, it does not. Does not come anywhere close. No.
Are we talking Luke Cage season 1 quality?
No. Luke Cage season 1 is better than this. I would put it under Luke Cage, and then after that would be season 1 of Jessica Jones, and then fucking Iron Fist. At the
Where
bottom.
does the Defenders fall at that?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I would probably put the Defenders above this too, just because I enjoyed watching the Defenders more than I enjoyed watching this season of Jessica Jones.
I would probably disagree with that.
That's fair. I mean, I can see that, but yeah. I mean, what are you asking me? Who is in the Defenders? What character is in the Defenders?
Danny Rand.
Yeah, that's what put it over the top for me.
Do you want to go? Do you want to get anything out of the way, or do you want to go into our rating of this?
Yeah, I don't think I have any other general stuff other than I mean the stuff we already talked about, the score, the voiceovers. No, that's it for me.
All right, Midget Radio. 1 to 5, old school Netflix scale, not this thumbs up, thumbs down nonsense. What do you give it?
Even though it sounds like I'm probably lower than you on this season, I think I would just put it at 3 stars.
Huh.
I mean, I liked it, but yeah.
No, I was on a collision course with a higher score for a lot of this.
Yeah.
And then what it felt like is probably that moment when you're driving way too fast in the country and you feel like you go over a hill and you feel the lack of gravity.
Yeah.
And there's that moment where you're like, I think I'm going to die. Because like it doesn't slow down, but true. you know that there's a good chance that it goes off track. I feel like this does go off track pretty significantly.
Yes.
In the last 2 or 3 episodes. It's not a full on train wreck. I'd probably also give it 3 stars, which I think means that this is worth 3 stars.
Yeah.
Since we agree.
Yeah.
We are the 2 most important internet reviewers out there.
That's fucking true, man.
But we can go into spoilers at this point. We can get a little bit more into what you were talking about and what I have also been thinking. But I think we first have to get the big elephant out of the room.
Okay.
Were you disappointed to see Nuke die?
My God, no.
There was a part of me that just thought it was hilarious when they started referring to him as Nuke, and I'm like, I kind of hope this guy sticks around and paints an American flag on his face.
That would be kind of amazing. But no.
And that dream was very quickly dashed.
What's his name? Simpson, right?
Yeah,
I
think so.
So I hated that character so fucking much. In the first,
there was
season.
no redeeming.
He's
him
just
no matter what.
He's just awful, just fucking awful. And then he shows up in season 2, and I was like, God damn it. What do you got? And then they made the right decision. They made the right fucking choice, and they killed his ass off. And that kind of made me fall in love with the show a little bit. I was like, yes, it realizes some of the shit that it pulled in season 1. It's including the voiceovers. We're getting the investigation, and we're killing off one of the worst characters in the first season. All of that, A+.
Okay. There's a part of me that thought maybe you liked Nuke.
No, not in
and would want to see more.
No, God, not in this show.
He's got some stuff going on. I don't know if you read any X-Men.
I do. He's a much more fun in the X-Men comics. And just a fucking disaster in this show.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I got that. I just wanted to make sure I asked that because it was kind of funny when they started calling him Nuke.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, this is so the wrong decision, but I kind of want to see it.
I mean, it would be amazing, but he's got to be like a strung out fucking psychopath, and he's not that in this show. He wants to protect Patsy. He just wants to protect. He's the same fucking guy he was in the first. That's my whole thing. That's all there is to me in the whole fucking world. I just want to protect Patsy. Oh, she's so important to me. I can't get, it's so fucking boring. It is so boring. It is such a boring character.
So what I thought Since we were talking a little bit about Patsy already,
Yeah.
I thought that this after episode 8 or 10, this starts to feel a lot like the origin story of Hellcat.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
And like to be aware that she is Hellcat in the comic books is, I mean, it's the same thing with Jigsaw and the Punisher. It feels contrived.
Yeah.
And actually that's that's one thing that I do kind of respect them. It's like, you killed off Nuke. Now Nuke's not exactly a great grade A character
No.
from the Marvel universe,
No.
but he is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
And certainly there are people out there who would not mind watching Nuke and the Punisher have it out with one another.
No, that'd be fucking great. But the proper Nuke, the right Nuke.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you take them on an arc in this one, season 2, you can just have, holy shit, why isn't this TV show just called Bullets?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
But like a lot of this, a lot of it felt like it was a little bit too on the nose for me in terms of oh, I want powers.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I honestly, for me, it's because I find Patsy a completely unlikable character, and so I just like she just seems really selfish to me at the end of the day, and so I don't I don't want her to become Hellcat. She doesn't seem like a hero to me. All of these lines about I want to have powers and like be able to help people just seem stupid. I mean, I don't see anything in her character that puts any weight behind these feelings that she claims to have, that she just really wants to help people. She just seems constantly selfish to me. I mean, almost everything that she does, like that brought up as this child star, she hates her mom. But that relationship is clearly more complicated than she's allowing it to be, where she sees her mom as like this fucking villain. And her mom's definitely got problems, but Patsy can be such a victim with that sometimes. It's just really hard for me to like empathize with her in any way. She feels just shallow to me, especially that. I mean, her appearance in the Defenders didn't really do her any favors for her character. For me, I don't
even
like
remember her from the Defenders.
I remember her in particular because she said something that sounded exactly like what someone like Patsy Walker would say, which was when she was.
Seems like it's in character. Then.
Yeah, it is definitely in character, but it's also awful because she's like, remember they're having the earthquakes and like that's the big story. Like what's going on with these earthquakes? Oh well, it's because of this insane bullshit with undead ninjas. But she's like, I was trying to like float the earthquakes as like a conspiracy, and my editors shut it down because I didn't have any evidence, basically because I wanted to make up a story to get it on the air, and they shut me down, and that must mean that it is a conspiracy, but really I just fucking said this. And like that's why I hate she's just a shallow fucking character. It's so annoying to me. That this whole I want to be a hero, I just don't buy it. I just don't fucking buy it. She's a child star. She's now on the radio doing fucking lifestyle stories. Wants to pretend that she's bigger than that. But it's just, I just don't buy any of the altruism, I guess. And so for that reason, I don't give a shit. Like, she doesn't seem like a hero to me. This ridiculous, I'm willing to almost kill myself to get these superpowers doesn't seem like it's coming from a good place remotely at all to me. It just seems like it's coming from a fucking selfish, I need to be the best at everything sort of place. And it's annoying. I don't know. I just don't like her. Maybe I accept I may be alone on that. But I just don't think there's much really about Patsy Walker that is at all redeeming, or even very sympathetic.
Well, I mean, I sympathize with her for being a hot blonde.
That's it. Like, that's her best quality. How sad is that?
I understand what you're saying. I'm not there because in a lot of ways I could look at the way, like, if you looked at the mentality behind how a lot of people behave in the media, in social media in particular.
Yeah.
And if that were a possibility that you could become super, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling there are people who would go to great lengths to try to do that.
Yes.
And some of them would have their heart in the right place, and some of them would be doing it for fame and fortune.
Yeah.
And with Patsy, you look at it and you're like, it's probably equal parts both, because on the one hand, you see her past in the episode that honestly kind of comes out of nowhere. And it took me like 5 minutes. It's like, what is happening? You're like, this must be the past. Is this the past? They said something about college and grades. So it must be the past.
Yeah.
The bat, whatever.
That song that I want your cray cray. Did you notice that it's just a chorus? Like, there's actually no verse at all.
I actually thought that was brilliant, because it was.
You think it was intentional? I felt like it was just lazy, but maybe it was kind of intentional. And
I feel like it was just trying to be as on the nose. This is as shallow as culture gets.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? I want your cray cray, and in between, kind of in between the chorus, it's just the cray cray.
Yeah, it's
cray,
just
cray.
4 measures of nonsense, and then
Yeah, it like I thought that was whatever.
Maybe it wasn't. I like it better if it's intentional. Then at least it's kind of funny. But
oh man, I don't think that you could write something so cringe that. I mean, I guess you can, because they.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the Huffington Post
in between
fairly often.
in between the commercials, but yeah.
Yeah, it's there. I prefer to believe that it was intentional.
Okay.
Because
I like that better.
Because Jessica's reaction is definitely that it is as vapid as it sounds.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And if she is saying that, I think that's the writers telling you that this is some stupid shit.
Yeah. Maybe that's the part. Like, I don't understand where old Patsy turned around on that. You know, she's a child star, fine. Then she becomes a fucking pop idol, sort of, peddling just shallow garbage. And then she's on the radio doing fucking lifestyle stories about gluten allergies and whatever, you know. And it's like, I'm just not sure where, like, she turned around, and maybe that's part of why I don't feel like she's a very genuine character in any way. It just feels like more selfish bullshit, chasing fame and chasing validation and all of that. And in that sense, it's boring. Yeah.
Not to be completely fair, when she goes off on that person about gluten allergies, I may have thought of you.
It was funny.
Because I'm fairly certain I've heard a lot of those words verbatim to me about something.
Sure.
It's like, who gives a shit about Canada?
Yeah. I'm not saying she wasn't making reasonable points.
All right.
But yeah.
We'll try to get off the Patsy thing. You were going to talk a little bit about
Malcolm?
Malcolm.
Move over to Malcolm.
and all the other characters, because like I have like kind of an overarching, and maybe I'll put this out there because it might be easier.
Okay.
And since it's written down in front of me, I can remember it after drinking.
That's helpful.
By the end of this series, I feel like they've played the same beats several times, and that it just starts to become silly.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean that within each character, there's such everything that each character does is sort of repetitious. You start with Chang, and I like Chang because he shows up, he's cocky, he's got some character.
I like him
and
too.
you're like,
Yeah.
this guy wants to throw down. Maybe he's a ninja
Yeah.
or something. He's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Chang comes off as kind of a joke by the end of the series because his character vacillates between two
Extreme.
places.
Yeah.
And it's his first or his default attitude is like, I'm a badass.
Yeah.
But then I start a fight with a super lady.
Yeah.
And then she nearly kills me. And there's like this oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Or I'm a badass sniper.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yep.
I missed.
Shoot.
And then you get like, I happen to have to get up right at the time that he missed. So I hit pause, and like when I come back, it's just that wide-eyed look like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like his character, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. Jessica's mother, who I think is named Elise.
Yeah, I think
Is
that's
that-
right. Yeah, that sounds right.
So how many times in this TV show does she just completely Hulk out?
Yep.
And then she sees Jessica, or Jessica says something,
Yeah.
or she fucking punches her daughter, and she sees this like she's bleeding from the face.
Yeah.
And then there's the moment of realization. It's almost always like a 3-second shot. It's like, we're gonna need you to come down from Hulk.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what? She punches Jessica in the hallway, and then she looks like she's gonna like do the scorpion fatality to her own daughter right there in the hallway,
Yeah.
right? And then she's like, "Oh no, that's my Jessica."
Oops. Yeah.
Then she runs away, and quite literally, you have the same thing happen like 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she runs outside, and there's all the cops. And apparently this is a more dangerous scene than you realize at this point, because apparently any 9mm handgun can kill her.
Yeah.
But she runs outside, and like, she's gonna murder everybody. And then Jessica's like, no,
Yeah.
don't do it. And then she's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to fight my own daughter again.
Yeah.
And then again, when she goes and tries to kill Patsy,
Yep.
she throws Jessica across the room. Patsy falls on the floor. She can't see Patsy, so that helps.
Yeah.
And she looks up and she's like, Mom. And it's like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it happens at least 1 or 2 more times
Yeah.
in this show, where it's just like, okay, every time she's going to do the right thing and stop trying to murder her daughter. Great.
Yeah.
This only works once
Yeah.
or twice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Malcolm. Malcolm's a tryhard. Then Jessica dismisses him. He gets all
Yep.
pissy.
Yep. The wounded puppy dog. He comes
mhm.
back, and that's yeah. Yeah.
This doesn't actually play out so well with Trish, because Trish actually is one of the few characters in this that has an arc.
Yeah. Yeah. I it's hard to call it. It's hard, honestly, for me to call much of this an arc, because I don't feel like, honestly, any character came out any differently. Malcolm actually may have the best argument for that, but he's such a fucking puppy dog throughout all of season 1 and this entire season that I'm not really sure how different he comes out. They kicked me out of the one home, so I went to the different home.
Yeah, he shows up and he's like, I want a job with you, Hogarth. And she's like, you're not a fucking private eye. I don't
you're
need
just a
you. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
And then he's like, oh.
that's right.
And then you see him again, and the next scene he's standing next to Chang, and he's like, he's my associate.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Yeah,
He's found another master.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You can say the same thing about Trisha's mom. Trisha's mom is except for one scene where she seems to have some sort of personal realization. She's just a fucking bitch.
See, I actually think Trisha's mom is probably one of the more interesting characters in this series, because I think as much as I'm going to argue this, because I think as much, and I think what sells her for me is the constant villain, like she's constantly villainized by both Patsy and Jessica all the fucking time, over and over, like she's the root of all of their fucking problems. But every time you generally see the mom, it's to try to it's to intervene in Patsy's life. I mean, it's clear to me that Patsy's mom wants Patsy to do well. Now, you can argue all day long whether that's out of some sort of self-interest, that she just wants Patsy to do well so that she can mooch off of her, or does she actually love her daughter? I think it's pretty clear that she actually loves her daughter, and is overbearing and obnoxious and hurtful. But that in general, most of that is an expression of the fact that she does actually love her kid, who is herself kind of a brat. So I will make an argument, and I will defend Patsy's mom, if only for the fact that she is not nearly as fucking bad as she is constantly played to be.
I understand what you're saying, and I will make the same argument to people who are making ridiculous political statements.
Yeah.
Because like I get it. Like people are super hard on, the ACLU or the NRA. Usually those are quite opposite types of people.
Sure.
But like, if you're going to be unfair about it, if you're a reasonable, intelligent person, you go out there and you look it up. And then, like, even if the person or the organization is wrong, you're like, they are nowhere near as like Satan-like as you are making them out to be.
Sure.
And it's bad, because then you end up in the situation where, like, if you feel intellectually called to defend them, that it actually becomes kind of natural for you to be able to do it. And then people unnecessarily make enemies. I get it. It's the over-vilification of a character. But I just find her fucking boring, and she's just like, I mean, her effect on every scene that she's in for me is like a toddler screaming while he's banging on a pot with a wooden spoon.
I don't have quite that reaction. So the overview, yes on that first point, but the other side, the other aspect of I think what she adds to the show and why she's a more interesting presence is because of the tendency for not just the over-vilification, but the tendency for specifically Jessica and Patsy to trace so many of their fucking problems back to her. Like, she gets blamed for so much of like, why is Patsy a drug addict and all of that kind of shit, why is Jessica withdrawn, all the trust issues and all of that shit gets traced back to this character. And a smart show, which I feel like this show is sometimes, and addresses this just a little bit in this season, would realize that Jess and Patsy are just making excuses. They're just making a fucking excuse to explain why they are where they are, why they're suffering in the manner that they're suffering. They locate it on this one individual, and while there's some merit to that, it's not completely justified. It's not 100% of the fucking answer. It's a lazy excuse. Jess and Patsy are content to blame their own fucking problems on her and on other people and outside forces and all of that shit. And that's what I think makes her kind of a stronger presence. And it's why when you see her actually trying to take care of Trish, and when you can see those scenes where she does have Trish's best interests in her heart, that's what like that's what a smart show would do, right? That you see that this human being who's apparently responsible for fucking Jessica Jones's problems and responsible for Patsy Walker's problems is not actually the root of all evil. And that maybe Jess and Patsy need to fucking look inward a little bit, and realize that they're a little bit responsible themselves for their own crap. So that's, I mean, I don't know. That's what I see in her character. And I feel like the show in this season addresses that just a teensy bit.
I respect your opinion on this, but I do not think that it can override my emotional reaction to just what an annoying character she is.
That's fair.
And part of it's like I don't think that the show is saying clearly that Trish or that Jessica are right about anything, because they are deeply flawed characters.
Yeah. Yes.
And I don't think that anybody walks away from the show thinking, now the one thing that I need to learn here is that Trish's mom may be overbearing, but she really loves
right
her or whatever. It's just it. I was less annoyed with her up until the point where she's like, Jessica, I don't blame this all on you. And I think literally the next scene that we see is, I blame this all on you.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
yeah.
Oh, good. Back to this again. I thought that your character was going to do something.
Yeah.
Change.
Well, I feel like that's true for all of the characters in this season. But yeah, I mean, was it a complete reversal? Yes. And it's annoying. Yeah.
Now I don't. Okay. Do we want to discuss Jessica Jones's so-called arc in this?
We can. Yeah. If she has one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure she does, but yeah.
Since I'm more in the affirmative, I will try to make the case.
Okay.
Jessica Jones starts from a place where she's like, fuck the world, fuck everything.
Yeah.
Then she realizes that her mom exists.
Yep.
Then she realizes that she still cares about her mom, even though she's a monster.
Right.
And then, and this is the part that I think is cheap, but strangely kind of Dark Knight-esque.
Okay.
They try to resolve at the very end of this Jessica's emotional change.
Yeah.
And they do it with the use of the voiceover. And
yeah.
And it's the voiceover in particular is whatever, something about family.
Yeah.
And she's walking down the hall and she sees Malcolm and she tries not to seem to care. And then Malcolm's like, oh, no, I'm over this and I'm going to try not to care. And he walks past her and then looks back. And she walks past him and looks back. And that's always supposed to be sort of like a sign that like you do care.
Uh-huh.
And there's just like this whole like, and the reason why I say it's Dark Knight-esque is because when I saw The Dark Knight the first time, I thought, holy shit, this is the most depressing movie. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where you get to the last scene and it's, to be completely honest, it's like the most effective fake play that I can think of in the history of movies for me, because it's Two-Face. He's got, Gordon and his family, and he's going to execute his son and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then basically Batman's like, no, you just tell him I did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't matter. I will shoulder the burden. I will shoulder everyone's hate.
Yeah.
I can wear this because I'm a hero.
Yeah.
But like, I understand, like, we don't want to get into the hero that we need versus the hero that we deserve.
I know, because it's funny, but yeah.
But like Like, that was just such an extreme validation of all the suffering that goes on through the thing. And just what a goddamn hero you have to be to be able to say, you know, I can take that and I can take even more.
Yeah.
I can take all of my guilt and I can carry all of their guilt too.
Yeah.
If that's what it means to other people. And like, that's great. That's great. This movie tries to do it without a Gordon doing the voiceover. Jessica's doing the voiceover herself, saying basically, I realize, or my arc is concluded by my realization that the family that I have is all around me and that I've basically fucked that up. But maybe season 3 we'll fix it. That's my interpretation.
Wow.
Of Jessica's arc.
Wow.
Cut to credits. See you next year.
Wow. God. Okay. Man, I just didn't I didn't get that impression much at all. Because when I'm listening to that voiceover and the way the series concludes, it seems like basically her step toward a sort of risky emotional bond with another person is invested in the fucking super and his kid at the end of the series. But it's like, I mean, what the fuck? Like 5 minutes before that, she's telling Patsy, her sister, that she killed her own only fucking family. And that now whenever she sees Patsy, all she sees is her mom's murderer, you know? So just a complete fucking rejection of the person that she grew up with and the person with whom she had the strongest bond because of what is, and we can get into this. I don't want to get derailed on it now, but because of an extremely ridiculous resolution to the mom storyline. But like she rejects that, and then I see her as walking past Malcolm as little more than confirmation of that. Little more than confirmation of, yet again, Jessica Jones rejecting the people who have been closest to her because of some sort of perceived fucking betrayal. So now, of course, the only person that she's going to invest in is the only guy who hasn't had the opportunity to basically betray her yet. Like the only guy who she barely fucking knows, really. And now she's going to put her all of her what little I guess she has left as far as an emotional investment is all going to be downloaded into this new fucking dude because he hasn't done anything bad yet. He hasn't done anything to betray her as she sees it so far. So yeah, I just like that. It doesn't feel like it just feels like Jessica being Jessica, rejecting people who have been close to her because they hurt her somehow in her mind. And taking all of that, putting it in somebody brand new. And then as soon as he forgets to fucking show up for dinner, God knows what, like, yet another betrayal. And she won't be able to trust him either. Like it just didn't feel like much of an arc to me. And I think what's disappointing about that is that the reveal of the mom felt like a little stupid, but it was worth it for the one scene that they had in her apartment, where Jessica was engaged in, yet again, blaming things that happened to her, this kind of sense of victimhood that she has, that she was like the subject of experiments and all of this crap. And connecting that with the fact that like she's been a loner for so long, she doesn't have a lot of friends, she has sort of a pissy attitude, toward the whole world. And her mom's like, well, you were kind of a loner before all of that. Like you weren't popular. You were kind of withdrawn and all of that shit before any of this happened. And that's the kind of thing that I liked about this show when they got into scenes like that, where they're like, no, Jessica, you are not the way you are because you were experimented on or because of Kilgrave or all of that shit, you know. You just are this way. Like there are things about you that are completely fucking your own that were not put upon you. You are not a complete fucking victim. You do own some of this bullshit. And that's where the show kind of got a little more interesting. That feels like a more honest exploration of her character. And that's what I'm talking about with respect to this cast. There's nobody like that to really challenge her, I think, to really challenge some of the assumptions and the presuppositions that she makes about herself, the way she interacts with the rest of the world, all of that. I just don't feel like there's anybody up to that in this show. And it seems like kind of a weakness. I think it could be a better show. Because Jessica Jones is definitely a character that needs to be routinely challenged. And I think it's something that I think Daredevil found a little bit with, particularly with Matt's conflict between like wanting to do good, but also kind of enjoying just beating the shit out of people. Like, yeah, that stuff like needs to be
confessional scenes.
Exactly. That stuff needs to be in Jessica Jones as well. And I think when you only have fucking broken goddamn characters like Malcolm and like Patsy, who are themselves, I think, kind of consumed with their own stupid fucking problems, it makes for, I think, kind of a weaker and a little bit of a more suffocating show. You're not really challenging these characters. You're just letting them kind of feed off of each other. And I don't know. It just seems it's a weaker experience, I think, for me.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. I don't feel that way, and I guess what will happen is that one or the other of us, or perhaps neither, will be proven right by whatever happens next in this, because I'm sure we're going to see more of it.
Oh yeah, and I hope we do. Yeah, but
yeah, and I hope when we do, we don't see just Jessica, you know, the emo bitch.
Yeah. Because and even Hogarth, actually, I guess I'll take it back, because I do like Hogarth. I don't really like what they did with her this season, but I liked the scene when Jessica was in jail and Hogarth was trying to get her out, and there was at least like one line from Hogarth to Jessica where she's like, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of, you know, the only reason that you're alone, or the only reason anybody would leave you, is because you keep pushing them all away.
Yeah,
and you're like, Thank you. Like, you're trying, like, yes, you're Hogarth. You are, you know, a character with a lot of self-interest and kind of selfish and somewhat difficult to trust, but you know, you're at least talking some fucking sense. Like, it's just, I'm here to fucking get you out of prison, you stupid bitch. Like, stop pushing me away. You know, it's whatever you fucking think of me and your inability to trust me and all this shit, I'm here to get you out of this fucking jail cell if you'll just assist, you know. Those are good scenes. Those are good interactions, and I would like to see more of that.
Now, the curious thing is that Hogarth actually has the anti-arc.
Yeah.
She's a character that grows through the season to believe in something other than money and accolades and success.
Yeah.
She gets betrayed.
Yeah.
She ruins everyone who betrays her.
Yeah.
And she reestablishes the status quo.
Yep. Pretty much.
She has the anti-arc.
Yeah. Yeah, she absolutely does. Yeah, that was really disappointing.
Do you want to believe in hope? Well, too bad.
Nope.
Hope is stupid.
Hope is a rather complicated con job, apparently. A surprisingly complicated fucking con job. That just felt I feel like we've actually done a pretty good job talking at least about some of the substance of this show, but I don't want to ignore some of the bullshit either, because it gets in the fucking way.
I think that we are surprisingly on point.
I am a little taken aback. But the show,
maybe,
man,
there should be more whiskey.
There probably,
because this is not supposed to be, like a coherent conversation.
No, it shouldn't be. Not by this time, anyway.
We're gonna have to start talking about Burnham again.
All right. Yeah. then it will go off the rails. But yeah, what did you think about the Hogarth storyline?
So So I like that it was there.
Yeah.
And I understand that her storyline was in service of kind of keeping her in the viewer's field
Yeah.
of vision
Yeah.
throughout the entire series, so that eventually you could circle back and you could see what happened to Malcolm. Because otherwise I think Malcolm just walks off and she walks off, and then it's just Trish and her mom and Jess and her mom, and God only knows what kind of hellhole that would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's one of the things I respect about this, because even though I think that Hogarth's story is not exactly great, not exactly,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it keeps her in the thing, and it helps them tie all the loose ends up. And I like that you don't lose sight of the characters. And honestly, even though I don't consider this exactly a home run, I do think that they didn't strike out. I mean, it's a single or double or maybe a base on balls at best.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the Lewis Walcott thing. Now, Lewis Walcott is a story that is better on every level.
Every single level.
Except maybe the way that he died.
Yeah, that was a bit of a
It got a little TV there.
It did.
But overall, like, you spend a lot of time with that character, and he's like nobody, and you're just like, what is this? Like Punisher and Friends of a Friend?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, it helped that he was such a good character.
It
really
did.
well played.
Really well played. We got to see his home life. We got to see his interaction with his dad, which is honestly probably one of the more tragic parts of that whole storyline.
Just brilliant. Yeah, that was brilliant.
And I mean, there you're talking about a whole bunch of broken people, but somehow it comes together a whole lot better. Honestly, Microchip's not that broken of a character.
No,
it's just
he's
that
not.
He kind of had to ostracize himself for completely reasonable comic book reasons.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's because, like, I mean, the Punisher doesn't like fuck it. Not only I don't think it doesn't like wallow in self-pity. And even if you wanted to make the argument that it does, the characters generally aren't just solely fucking driven by that. Like, Patsy's decision making is crazy. Jessica Jones' decision making is crazy. And I think that's what gets frustrating about the show a little bit. But
didn't you feel there was some sort of development with Trish? Because, like, she starts as a different character than she ends, because by the end she's all nuked up and like she's getting increasingly more desperate, increasingly more aggressive. And I mean, honestly, she does have an arc. It's just whether or not you like it. And my only issue with it is that it's too on the nose.
I mean, I guess so. She risks her life to get the powers that she's always wanted. And it looks like she ends up getting them. I don't know what she's really come away with, though, at that. Like, she's still, even when she wakes up in the fucking hospital morgue where she's at, and her first fucking instinct is, oh my God, I have to get out of, I have to save Jet. Like, that was actually a scene where I really liked her mom, where she's like, what is a failed fucking TV journalist gonna fucking do that a super powered woman and law enforcement can't fucking do? Like, and that's the thing. That's the kind of, I need to inject reality into this bratty little child that I kind of appreciate about that character, because Trish is like, no, it's all on me. It's all on me. I have to go do it. I have to fucking save the entire day. And then she kind of ends up doing that. And it's really stupid how that happens. But like that's, I just don't see it with Trish. She's still headstrong. She still has her own little motivations that define fucking everything that she does, and she will throw people under the bus for it. You know, she'll throw Malcolm under the bus. She'll use people to get what she wants, and then she gets what she wants. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to see like a much deeper aspect to her with what we've been given in season 1 and season 2 of this show. She just seems selfish.
I mean, I get it, because a lot of it is, and Trish's mom says it like straight up. Like, I guess her name must be Patricia, right?
Yeah,
because
Patsy, Trish, yeah, Patricia, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
This is starting to come together for
There we go.
Wow, it's amazing that I watched 2 full seasons, and all it took was a couple glasses of Tin Cup, and I figured out the world.
Nice job.
Okay, now that Tactic Angel has ruined his credibility, he will go on to mention something about, like, as you're talking through all of that, like, let's pretend, and I guess I've been doing this subconsciously. Let's pretend that we look at Patsy as a person who genuinely wants to do something right.
Okay.
And that she's chasing originally, the people who messed with Jessica first, out of a sense of, I need to find these people. They did bad things. They should be punished.
Right.
They should be exposed.
Right.
And you follow that, and you get to that point where she's in the morgue, and she's like, I still want to help Jessica, even though I'm, as Trish's mom says, basically probably incapable of doing anything that Jessica can't do.
Right.
Though in truth she does.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
I would think that you like that, because she was making decisions.
I mean, she definitely made a decision, but it's like, wow, you got there really quick, and you are
a surprisingly good
an
shot.
Amazingly good shot. But I guess she had to like go home to get the gun, right? So she went home and then she drove to fucking Westchester. I kept hoping that they would mention that there was a mansion out there somewhere, but they didn't do it. That was really sad.
It seemed to me as sort of strange that the NYPD also had jurisdiction there.
But yeah,
we'll brush over that as
Yeah.
not all that consequential to the liking or not liking of this.
No.
But I mean, like, if we are to listen to Patsy's mom, and we are to really look at what Hogarth goes through, like, if you accept both of those things, and I'm sure if you went looking, you could find a third. I don't want this series to be like the rejection of Hope, right?
Sure.
I don't want this series to be just like, you're nobody, don't try, the world sucks,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Because that's not really why people listen to, watch, read things about superheroes.
Yeah.
The idea is that you do want these, like, almost modern day mythological people to kind of fester in your mind, so that, like, that you could ask yourself, well, what would Cap do?
Yeah.
What would, I mean, honestly, you probably don't ask too many other questions, because what would Iron Man do is not a good solution.
No, it's not.
And I do love me some Iron Man.
Hell yeah.
But Tony Stark's decision making is occasionally not exactly straight line.
Not ideal, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But, like, and that's the thing. It's like, if you take the character at their best, I understand that she has a lot of jealousy issues, but I also think that, like, a lot of what you're seeing, particularly in this season, is meant to be kind of the way that the drug has kind of deranged her.
Yeah.
Because she does get progressively more violent.
Yeah, oh,
And
yeah.
she's walking around, she's packing heat all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I prefer the more optimistic interpretation of Patsy's character, because I'm sure we're gonna have to deal with her some more.
I know. I know. I do too, and I don't want to argue against you too much on this because that's actually absolutely what I would prefer to see. I just don't feel like that's what this show has delivered at all. I think you can question her all day long, and they didn't really give her. I don't know, man. It's almost like they don't give her the opportunity because so much of what she does seems to be so fucking selfish. And I mean, even I could go back to the beginning where she wants to pursue this story about IGH and all that shit because they did wrong and it's so bad what they did and all that shit. And you're like, you've got that guy, the wizard, right? The speedy guy, and he's posting shit to, like, he's sending videos to her. To Patsy. She's fucking ignoring him because she wants Jess involved. It's like, I get that. I get it. Maybe he's just some crazy internet guy. And it turns out that's not the case, but still that, like, it still speaks to, I need Jessica involved in this because, you know, Jessica has a name and she can get me what I want. She can get me the ratings and all that stuff. And I'm not even going to give this guy the time of day. You know, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great for her character. That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
Imagine we lived in a world where our videos got 2,000 or 3,000 comments each time.
Soon enough.
I highly doubt that either one of us are going to read all of them.
Oh, no. But neither one of us is on a crusade either. We're not going to try to convince anybody that we're on some kind of do-gooder fucking crusade. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But she is. She's actually trying to convince Jessica and everybody else, the whole fucking world, that she is this fucking altruistic do-gooder. And I don't see it.
I don't think that means that she would necessarily read all 3,000.
No, but you'd think she'd read some of them, and people who kind of constantly posted and were like really interested in this, and hey, you can talk to me. Like, I don't know how many of those comments there are, but there's zero. I'm just saying that's like an opportunity right there that the show could have given her to actually illustrate that maybe she is interested in this beyond just the ratings and stuff. And they didn't fucking do it. They didn't give her any.
Maybe I'm making excuses.
So,
but when you look at the wizard and he shows up,
I know
this guy is a fucking lunatic.
I know. But they blew that opportunity too. The writing staff did. I
am the fattest speed-based character you have ever seen. I did kind of love that.
I liked him. I wish that he got to stick around, but
yeah, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see it from her. I would prefer your interpretation. I just don't see much in the show to support it, really.
My powers are based on fear.
He seems like he's scared all the time, but
it seems like he wrote like a fan fiction for himself.
Yeah, I think he is actually a real character, but
is he?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Fucking D list, but yeah.
Probably lower than that.
Probably.
You're talking Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah.
Up
until a couple of years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
That one person in the corner of the internet who was really impressed by her 2 panels.
Fuck yeah, I love all those 2 panels, man. Best 2 panels in comics.
There's so much potential there. I can't believe they didn't do it.
But yeah, I don't know. Patsy. Ugh. And Malcolm. The addict stuff got really, really tiresome to me. Constantly singing that sad song of the attic. Man. My God. Just like the fucking dependency issues, all of that stuff, man. It just got old to me. I don't know. It just stopped. It just started to get annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Stop telling me you're a fucking addict. Stop telling me that all the time.
Well, maybe what they need to do
is just like do nothing. I got to do something. Jesus Christ, why is that my problem? Like,
Maybe what they need to do is, rather than look at this as every time that we buy a season, we have to buy 13 episodes, and it has to be one story.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to realize that you can do a couple of different stories.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the Zindi.
No, exactly.
You gotta get the Zindi.
Well, when your character is a fucking private detective, you have a structure built into that. You have a pretty clear episodic structure fucking built right in. Like,
yeah. Actually, kind of one of the things that makes this work better, but is also a hand wave to her whole, I'm going to invest, or I'm a private investigator thing, is like, she's clearly doing some work on trying to figure out Hogarth's people,
her partners,
her partners and what dirt. And it turns out it's just a ridiculous conclusion that comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
They are involved in laundering money for an international arms cartel.
Hey, that's pretty good dirt.
Right?
That's nice to just fall into your fucking lap. Like,
yeah. I mean, other than like smuggling weapons grade plutonium to like Iran or fucking North Korea, I don't know what else you could do.
Yeah.
Selling Vietnamese children
I like
for
that.
cocaine.
I like that.
I don't know.
Maybe some dead Asians in a shipping container. Why not? Why not?
Well, we've already seen.
We have seen that, but I'm sure that was.
I guess
their
that's
law
why
firm.
they couldn't go with that. But like, it just was like, you could have shown more of that. You could have shown her doing other things.
I know, yeah, but we're so consumed with it's my mommy. Ugh.
It is a little, and it is a little also disappointing that this is so laser focused on kind of the backstory of Jessica Jones again.
Yeah. We don't need that. It's not necessary, and I think, especially now after 2 seasons of that kind of obsession over her fucking traumatic past, season 3 needs to go completely the opposite direction. Let's let Jessica be a character in the world rather than just completely in her own fucking mind and her own past. I would love to see her dealing with things that do not directly affect what she went through as a fucking kid or as a teen. Like, I guess we've covered now kind of her early past, kid years up until she was in Patsy's family. And then I guess maybe her, 20s, college years when she was with Kilgrave. So season 3 is going to, I don't know cover some other piece of trauma that happened to her while she was living with Patsy. Who knows? But I fucking hope not.
Yeah. And actually, this kind of reminds me of something that really fucking annoyed me. And this is also weird because it really fucking annoyed me. I mean, I'm getting off track, so if you want to continue on.
No.
But, okay. So we have Carl, Dr.
Leoben! Oh, God, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah.
And, like, I love him and you love him because he's so good in Battlestar.
Yes.
And even in this, as kind of the spaced out scientist who maybe be doing good and maybe not.
Which I would love to talk to you about that, but yeah, continue with your point.
And like, one of the most annoying things that happens in all of Battlestar Galactica is that in the middle of some random episode, Dee walks into a room and shoots herself in the head.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
And then in this one, it's just like, oh God, please don't kill me. Yeah. You know what? Tell you what, I'm going to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
what?
What kind of character decision is this other than we need to write you out of the plot?
Yeah. We need to close the fucking book on this. Yeah. A particularly bad choice, I think, when what, like fucking 1 or 2 episodes later, her mom's thinking about doing the same damn thing. You're like, really? Another fucking, come on.
And like that was like a really big plot convenience.
Yeah.
And then there was the whole okay. So the by the way, this whoever was writing this was really obsessed with how dangerous compressed gases are.
That's true. It's very true. Someone must have had
But
a
a
bad
truck-
experience with some compressed gas.
But a truck overturns.
Really stuck with them.
And for a minute, I was like, are they going to completely resolve like Jessica's emotional
yeah.
and intellectual problems by having her mother heroically sacrifice herself?
Yeah.
How much more Deus Ex can we be? Answer, Patsy with a gun.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I hated all of that too. Yeah. I hated that. It didn't make any fucking sense to me.
That was the you look at it and at the end of episode 11 or 12, you can't even tell how they're going to wrap this up in one episode, but you're pretty fucking positive they're going to try.
Yep.
And damn it if they don't do it. And it just feels really forced and
it's lazy
artificial.
and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's really disappointing because I was so into the first 8 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Like most of this, I was like surprisingly engaged.
Yeah, same here. An absolute improvement over season 1. But so okay. So was he a bad guy? Was Leoben a bad guy in this show?
So like that depends on whether you view the law as specifically a barometer of
Like morality?
right and wrong,
Yeah.
or whether like okay, if you save Jessica's life and you save Jessica's mother's life,
Yeah.
by doing something
But they didn't sign a form. They didn't sign
illegal.
the form.
Yeah, like the guy who had the "Do Not Resuscitate" tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like I ordinarily
Right? Yeah.
would shock this person back to life, but this doesn't seem to be official paperwork. And yet
I
at
don't
the
see
same
where the
time,
notary is on this, but
do you have to get the notary tattooed on your body as well? If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, somebody had a "Do Not Resuscitate" tattoo, and it apparently created some sort of moral quandary in an emergency room.
yeah.
This was several months ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know. He's in some ways, yes, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he's doing stuff that's illegal.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, morality and law do not match up.
No, they don't, and they especially, and I think what was particularly grating for me on this, they don't line up, and they absolutely do not line up for someone like Jessica Jones. You know, she's not someone who fucking believes that the law is like the highest fucking representation of right and wrong. So all of that, oh, you're so bad, you're such a bad guy. All of that shit felt so stupid. To me, it just felt
Did
like.
you get really annoyed when the purple man showed up?
Actually, I kind of enjoyed that, but I think that's mostly because I like that actor and I think he's a good performer. But, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
I don't particularly like.
It
David
wasn't.
Tennant,
I like him well enough. Well, I mean, I understand the Doctor Who prejudice thing. I get that, but.
Did you know that they make Doctor Who and Star Trek crossovers?
I know. I'm gonna get you one for Christmas.
Good. I need some kindling to light your house on fire with.
But yeah, that felt more like Jessica fucking just blaming and projecting somebody else for all of her fucking problems and going way overboard on it. And I'm fine with that. Like, it's consistent with her character, but it needs to be challenged. And he's like pretty confident about what he was doing, about his research, his motivations for this stuff, all of that he was pretty confident about. So yeah, so the decision, it's I don't understand where the suicide decision really comes from for someone like that.
Yeah. I don't that was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bad writing. We don't know what to do with this character. We have to get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like episode 11, so, we only got a little more time here.
How do we do it? Well, what if he kills himself? That'll work.
Perfect. You're a genius. Yeah. I did not like that at all.
I don't know. That was frustrating. I will say one positive thing.
Okay.
I enjoy that they referenced the raft.
Yeah, that was cool. I
like that the Super's kid constantly talked about Captain America.
I like that too, but man, I hated that character. I hated the
kid?
Super. No, not the kid. The kid was fine.
You hate the kid?
I hated the Super. Oh God, yet another.
You hated the kid and the Super?
Yet another. My entire motivation is summed up in one sentence that I will repeat over and over throughout the whole series. I'm just doing what I gotta. I love my kid. I do everything for my kid. My kid is the only thing that fucking defines my life. Over and over. God, shut the fuck up. Ugh. Just boring. Just a boring fucking character. Ugh. I love my kid. I'll do anything for my kid. All I care about is if I have my kid. Anything that puts my kid at risk, I can't handle it.
I know what you're saying, but then at the same time, I mean, it's like they were writing down like the motivation of this character.
Yeah, yes.
Is that he likes his kid.
Yep.
And the motivation of Trish is that she wants to save the world.
Yep. Yeah.
And
feels a little bit like a D&D campaign. Hi, my name is Super. This is why I'm alive. How about you, sir? Oh, are we all going to go on a quest together? Great.
Hi, my name is Lawful Good. I mean, my name's Paladin. No, that's my class. I didn't write down a name.
Oh, fuck it.
My name is Tactic Angel, and I am a Paladin. I am interested in upholding the law and doing good.
Are you
Let's
a part
go
of
on an
organized
adventure.
crime? All right, inside joke, but yeah.
I was making decisions.
You were.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I actually don't have that much more for Jessica Jones season 2.
I don't either. I also did not like the nurse. The one half of the con. I didn't really like, she was just, I don't know. I didn't really understand her either. I think the hard part was like, you were a nurse. I understand you got attacked by like a fucking monster. But you were a nurse. You are a complete bitch. Like,
it didn't make a lot of sense when she was stealing everything, and then she sees the medication that has but one use.
Yeah.
And like, just the look on her face isn't like, holy shit, I can't wait to and this is like one of the this is kind of like the cheap sleight of hand sort of shit that they do sometimes. And it's the opposite of the bullshit that Star Trek Discovery, that you can like try to go back and try to rationalize the things.
Oh.
It actually is the same thing, but like
it is, yeah.
So here's the thing: like, you look at that, and like the first time that Jessica meets her mom, they get in a fist fight, and Jessica's mom kicks her ass, and it's like the one time she doesn't think about not just fucking up her daughter. Now she doesn't like go for the kill or anything like that. She just hits her with a table and throws her through a wall, essentially. And then you see this, and the reason why you don't associate Jessica's mother with that action is because she isn't announced yet as Jessica's mother.
Yeah.
And so the scene makes more sense.
Yeah.
So are we supposed to believe that this TV show that's told in third person is more of a imperfect narrator sort of? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. And then we're following this other tertiary character who's the nurse.
Yeah.
And she has this reaction that the imperfect narrator wouldn't have seen, so that doesn't work. Which makes you think, well, she's sticking around for decent reasons.
Yeah.
And then, it's just a con the whole time.
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's
a stupid twist. Yeah. It's just that felt like just such a stupid twist that makes really no sense in hindsight. Trying to actually trace that character's motivations, what she says, how she reacts, and all that, it just doesn't really line up. It just feels cheap.
No, and I think she was just a character that was in service of Hogarth's arc.
Yep. Yeah, which is not great, but yeah.
Yep.
That's the only other thing. Yeah, that was the only other thing I had to say. Did we give this 3 stars? I am gonna stick. I'm sticking with that. Yeah,
I'm sticking with it too. But it's, 2/3 of the show had a decent direction.
Yeah.
Then it started to go off the rails, and it was really only a train wreck in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, any last thoughts, Midget Radio, before I shut this thing down?
No. I will recommend Jessica Jones for people to watch. Season 2, anyway.
You could do worse things with your time.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, well then that has been episode number 49 of the Wednesday Night Gentleman Multimedia Empire official podcast. Please feel free to give us a like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel if you're really nice, and you can find us on Twitter where we are at WNG_MME_OPC, or head on over to Facebook where we are simply the Wednesday Night Gentlemen. Thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you again on episode number 50 of this podcast.
Bye-bye.